and welcome to Taking Over. I'm not Chris Parrish, but I am Ed Fries. Back again for a one night only NXT reunion, sort of. Joined by my tag team partner. No, that way. Have done
Ah,
this in too
dang
long. That way. Astrid Pizarro, normal co host of Taking Over. Parrish will be back. Parrish is taking the night off. He's got some things to take care of. But don't worry, he will be back in his normal seat, taking over next week. I haven't watched NXT in a while. I'll be honest. I took some time off from streaming. I kept watching, but I took some time off. I come back this week. All kinds of craziness is going on. I mean, we got these scripts things happening. We've got 4 people in the schism now. Nikita Lyons isn't in a tag team anymore. Zoe Stark is finally the heel she should have been 17 months ago with Io Shirai. Like, whole bunch of stuff has happened.
I know. How did you feel?
Well, you know what? The show started off very familiar for me. Tonight's show, My Ladies came out, Toxic Attraction came out to start the show. And I'm like, at least I can just ease myself in with Mandy Rose, the forever champion, holding that title, 400 plus days as champion. Just, telling us all how it is that another one bites the dust, to quote Queen, which I think was great. She talks about how she beat Kaylee Ray all by herself. No JC Jane, no Gigi Dolan. She didn't have any help whatsoever in defeating Kaylee Ray. I mean, nobody helped her. Somebody hurt Kaylee Ray, but I don't think they were trying to help Mandy Rose. But no, I mean, it was a fun open. It's always great when you open with Toxic Attraction. I mean, they closed the show last week. They opened the show this week. It's a nice little bookend. It continues telling that story. NXT tonight put the women on show. The women were front and center. They didn't have the main event, but they were front and center on this show with being out there and being ready to go. Speaking of being ready to go, I haven't done this in so long. I didn't realize that we have comments because every show I've done lately has been pre-recorded and I don't have any of these. We've got
How could
the
you
real
forget this?
NXT. We got Cody Defoe in the chat saying, I have no idea what happened. I saw Facebook reel with Pretty Deadly. They might not have even been from tonight. I saw it 10 seconds before the show ended. Yeah, there's something with Pretty Deadly that I'm going to get to later on because it was hysterical. The way NXT accidentally stumbled into greatness. And I want to know if I'm going to see if Astrid caught the same thing I did. Ed, not so French fries. I am French Canadian. A little bit. Just a little bit.
That explains the name.
One night only for now.
Dun, dun, dun.
Every return in wrestling is one night only for now. Male crop. Yes, NXT is the home of male crop tops. You got Carmelo Hayes. I mean, Trick doesn't typically wear a shirt, but if he does wear a shirt, it's a crop top.
Yeah.
Braun Breaker typically wears crop tops. I know Pretty Deadly does, but again, that's Pretty Deadly. That's what they do. Yes, I keep forgetting it's not Kaylee Ray. It is Alba Fire. I still, like I said, it's been 6 weeks. In my head, she's still Kaylee Ray.
I was being nice by not correcting him on air, so I let him be with the Kaylee Ray.
OLA may have many uncertainties, but the one thing that is always certain is that the promo code OLEPods can save you 10% on all orders at rogueenergy.com. That is absolutely right. The overlords are correct. If you scan this promo code right there below Astrid and you use OLA Pods, you will save 10% on all orders at Rogue Energy. They have some fantastic products. They got a cool hat. I know I talked to Parrish earlier today. He was wearing his Rogue Energy hat. And just like that, there's the promo code at the bottom of your screen. You can go ahead and go to that website, rogueenergy.com, and use the promo code OLEPods to help support us a little bit, but to get yourself some great energy drinks. Back in the comments again, we Hello, Sean Cena. Mandy has been champion for 393 days, not 400. But see, that's the thing. She's not defending her title except on house shows, and they're not going to have her say 400 days if they're going to take the title off of her on a house show. So I'm already saying it, 400 plus days. She's not losing that title before. She's not losing that title till after deadline. She will be the champion when we ring in the new year. That is a pretty fair assumption because I don't think she's defended the title even at deadline. Because I don't know who she defended against at this point. No. We have our friend in the Hot Seat podcast joining us. Hello. And yes, it'll always be Kaylee Ray, KLR for Cody. Kaylee Ray is fantastic. But yes, back to the show, back to NXT. They open with Mandy Rose talking all that stuff, talking about how she's the champion. Sad that she can't be in the Iron Survivor Challenge match because she just wants to add another accolade to her many accolades that she already had. And if you think I'm talking a lot, it's because one of us was watching NXT intently. And one of us was being incredible in being on Carl's Turnbuckle Talk, which you can go back to and watch right after this show's over if you missed it on Ole on the Ole channels and, of course, on Turnbuckle Talk. You should give them a follow on Twitch. You should give them a follow on YouTube. They are fantastic people. Carl is one of the best people I know. So always go ahead and give them a follow. Turnbuckle Studios, yes. But if you search Turnbuckle Talk, I think it all loops in there. Carl, I'm bad at this. I'm not used to doing all this live. This is all stuff I'd edit out, restart, and go. I've been talking about Marvel. I've been talking about What Ifs. I've been talking about Wakanda Forever. And again, all of that you can catch on Ole. All the Ole stations, you can catch all that too. NXT, focus it. Come on.
I'm just letting you be yourself since you missed the show for a couple weeks. So.
Couple weeks, couple months. But then we also had Gigi Dolan and JC Jane going ahead and talking about how they want their tag team titles back. They want to become the tag team champions again, which of course brings out Casey Squared, whom I honestly forgot were the tag team champions. No. I knew that Nikita was going after the tag team titles. I honestly couldn't remember who they were wrestling because they're forgettable. They're boring. And the point was proven when the two of them tried to get into a verbal sparring match with Toxic Attraction. Giving Katana Chance the microphone is about as bad as trying to let Lash Legend wrestle a match. Katana Chance is a really fun and interesting person. But she's dull and bland, and she has no personality other than a party girl who likes to dance. Kaden Carter is really good on the microphone. And when they let her talk, things make sense. She's not Mandy Rose level. She's not Gigi Dolan level. But she's not bad. She's good. I enjoy listening to Kaden Carter. I can't wait for the day they turn her heel and have her beat the ever-living crap out of Katana Chance.
Dang, you're planning it already, too.
I lots of heel turns. There are way too many faces in this NXT women's division. Way too many faces. Let's get back to a couple of these comments. I'm on the end of NXT, been on the road most of the day, but it is good to see everybody else. Like I said, it's been a while. I haven't been around. Looking for a potential Miko Satomura match to possibly Mandy Rose next challenger. Yeah, I mean, if Miko's going to have wrestling matches again, it would be nice to see her back in the ring. I think she's taking some well-deserved time off in helping get ready to start NXT Europe, which will be launching supposedly sometime next year. She was a coach in NXT UK, as well as their, long reigning champion. But more importantly, she was always a coach. And I think that that's what she's going to do going forward more than anything. You've got Cody saying it's been almost 7 months since she's... Yeah, I'm still hating on them. It doesn't matter if it's NXT or if it's taking over. They're still not entertaining enough for
Same
me.
old Ed.
I don't change typically.
Yeah.
How do you both feel about this new match at Deadline? Ashley, I know you gave your thoughts, but go ahead and reiterate your thoughts on the Iron Survivor Challenge, I believe it's called.
Yeah. Well, I like the concept already. It feels nice that it's both the guys and the girls match. It's not just a guys match, which usually just default one of the guys. But yeah, it's nice to see the girls getting already this type of platform as well. And I know it sounds complicated when you think about it at first with all the time frames and all the rules. So I'm just curious to see how it'll play out on TV when we watch it and on stream. But other than that, I'm excited to see how it goes. And I believe later on they told us that HBK is announcing the competitors next week. So I think that will give it more of an intrigue once we know, because I feel like people are going to start mixing up and kind of having like little feuds with each other that will play out during the match as well. But overall, it sounds interesting so far. I just want to see how it goes.
Yeah. Um, as for me, my thoughts on the Iron Survivor, I think this is great. Now, to say that, I also think King of the Mountain is one of the greatest matches that is hated on in wrestling. I think it gets way too much hate for how great of a concept it is. A reverse ladder match is really fun. Um, TNA has a lot of really crappy stipulation matches. They do. They really do. There's a lot of garbage in TNA's past with stipulation matches. I'm a big fan of the King of the Mountain. This is like a championship scramble meets King of the Mountain, and it's all the best parts of it.
Mhm.
I'm also a sucker for, I'm a Shawn Michaels fan growing up. The WrestleMania 12 Iron Man match is one of my favorite wrestling matches of all time. An hour wrestling match with nobody being pinned. Just watching two guys go for an entire hour. So 25 minutes, most falls wins. I like that idea. Um, I brought it up to a friend of mine this week, and they're like, well, doesn't that mean coming in late is bad? No, coming in late is great because you're super fresh and everybody else is beaten up. And you can just go and hit finisher after finisher and try to get some quick pinfalls. I have a feeling that the people who win this match, I think we're going to see one winner from number 2 and one winner from number 4. I don't think the fives are going to win. I think it's going to be like a 2 and a 4, a 1 and a 4 maybe. But I think it's going to be somebody early in one match and
Yeah.
somebody really late in the other. I'm also going to throw out my predictions for both the men and the women's match. I I'm going to skip a couple comments. I am not hating on Impact.
I was waiting for you to read that one.
I'm not hating on Impact. But Cody, go through all of their stipulation matches. There are more dogs in that thing. There are more kennels from hell in Impact than there are anywhere else. WWE has had some real bad gimmick matches, but for the most part, it's few and far between. Impact does reverse battle royal. For anybody who doesn't know, just look up the reverse battle royal. It is the worst, dumbest gimmick I have ever heard in my entire life. That being said, I love Impact. They have always had amazing shows. I go all the way back with Impact to the days where it was a weekly pay-per-view where I paid $10 a week to watch the NWA version of Impact where you had midgets with guns on Impact. And if you don't remember back that far, you should really look at some of those old shows because they're great.
I'm afraid to at this point.
Uh, See, a heel needs to be able to talk and verbalize as opposed to also be a little bit intimidating. And I don't think that any of those things describe Katana Chance. So while I agree it would benefit her character, I don't think she has any of the other prerequisites to be a viable heel. Unlike Cora Jade, which I will talk about just after this because they were in the next match. Sean Cena says that his guess for the Iron Survivor is a replacement for War Games. Yeah, no. I mean, I guess so. But at the same time, not really. I mean, I don't. War Games isn't a Shawn Michaels type of match. It's a very Triple H type of match. I think Shawn would absolutely is the one who put together the Iron Survivor with some advice from Jeff Jarrett before Jeff Jarrett left. Um,
Still, you didn't tell us your picks. Come on.
yeah. I agree. In the hot seat, I agree. And the same thing about the WB's version of the King of the Mountain Championship. Yeah, I mean, everybody said it. As soon as everybody heard it, they all knew that was basically the same line we're all going to go. The penalty box makes it very King of the Mountain.
Queen of the
Um,
Mountain too.
Queen of the Mountain too. They have had a few Queen of the Mountains. Again, I'm old school with Impact. I go all the way back to Jeff Jarrett and days where he owned that match. Impact has had some of the biggest home runs. King of the Mountain, Monsters.
Oh no.
I'm
No,
not
no.
giving you. I'm not giving you Monsters Ball. I'll give you Ultimate X. I'll give you Ultimate X, and I'll give you the King of the Mountain. Monsters Ball is essentially Full Metal Mayhem. That's all TLC. That's all. That all get credit back to ECW. Like WWE doesn't even get to have that credit. Impact has a
Cody,
lot
what are
of
you
home runs.
doing? You got him started now.
You know what? Me and Cody are going to have a show where we talk about this one because this could be a good show.
You can
Just
make a
give
special edition of making an impact. I'll give you permission.
maybe that's what we have to do in the future. Yeah, but she still needs to be able to talk on the microphone and be interesting. Like the biggest problem is she has none of the things that make a good heel. We're getting off track. I mean, we're on track because she was in the ring, but slightly off track. Yes, Cody is making an impact on taking over. All right, focus time. Focus. Melball says thank you. There's yes, Melball. And Carl jumping in. No, we're on top. We're mostly on topic because Katana Chance was in this segment.
You're halfway out the rail at this point.
We're getting off the rails, but we're still on it. But to go back to the thing, JC and Gigi keep talking trash about Katana Chance, talking about how, they're what made them relevant. And they're not wrong. Before Toxic Attraction, it took 2+ years for this good team to win the tag team championships. Like, it took a lot of effort to get these two over enough to be going ahead. With that being said, the other boss is in the chat.
You're
I've
fired.
never seen real laughing it. Well, he knew this was possible when he took the week off and he's like, "Hey Ed, do you want to jump in?" And I'm like, "Sure, I'll let Astrid run the ship." And then Astrid's like, "Hey Ed, I want to do turnbuckle talk. You're gonna go ahead and run the show." I'm like, "Well, that's a dangerous idea." As in the hot seat says, focus. Barry Monkey jumping in. Impact only last week had the revolutionary old school rules match where you couldn't be disqualified. Groundbreaking. This is true. I mean, how can I compete with the old school rules? I must be wrong. I mean, old school rules. They did have that other new match though, right? The Sammy Callahan,
Double Jeopardy.
Eric Young,
Well,
the Double Jeopardy
Death
match.
Machine Double Jeopardy match. There you
Yeah, that one. That was good. I remember I watched it. I actually found that match and watched it. It was really good. I enjoyed it.
go. Are you okay?
I watch Impact. People don't
Okay.
understand. I love Impact. I have to go out of my way to find stuff to watch, but I do watch it. Anyways, KC Squared gets in the ring and they get their butts kicked because it's 3-on-2 and they're too silly to know that that's going to happen. I mean, it is what it is. You don't attack Toxic Attraction without backup. And later on, we find out who the backup's going to be. And I'll give you a spoiler. It made me a very happy boy.
Too happy.
If that was a car, it wouldn't be a Focus, but terrain for its off-roading. Yes, I would be a Jeep Wrangler. I have lots of off-road capabilities. Ed liked the Death Machine that both Action and I disliked. You live some, you lose some. Anyways, after this, we have Cora heading to the ring, but she cuts this really cool backstage promo as she's coming to the ring with her bat, and you can barely hear it. But she's talking trash about Astrid. And this is really cool because Astrid had a match while being on Turnbuckle Talk, which is really great.
See?
But when we come back from break, before we can have Wendy Chu come to the ring for her match with Cora Jade, we have to get Grayson Waller backstage with Duke Hudson. And Grayson Waller's trying to figure out why Duke Hudson is still having a laugh and pretending to be part of Chase University. And Duke, completely straight-faced, goes, No, I'm part of Chase U. He holds up his binder. He shows off that he's part of Chase U. He says that's what it is. Ahead and goes with it. I like this segment. It was good to see Grayson Waller being like, dude, you're a bad guy like me. And he's like, no, I'm a good guy. I'm Chase U. See? He's like, no, but I know your true colors. And he's like, yeah, red and black, like Chase U. It like
Yeah.
I've not seen a lot of the Duke Hudson stuff. I've caught bits and pieces of it, but it's nice to see him like filling into the gimmick. Like it's all leading to a heel
Mhm.
turn, and I don't think it's going to be Duke. It's going to be somebody, and I don't think it's going to be Duke. I think it's
Either
going to be Tia.
Yeah, at least either way, he's showing a lot more personality than before. He has something going on for himself, which he didn't before either. So
And he
keep him
fits
looking.
really well, as we'll talk about later. He fits in really well in ring with Andre Chase. They work really well together in the ring. So I'm excited to see that. But we get back to the match, and it's Wendy Chu versus Cora Jade. Cora Jade wins after she tries to use her special weapon, but she fails. So Wendy Chu gets ready to use it, which distracts the ref. So the ref takes it away, and then Cora Jade throws Wendy's drink in her face, and then hits her with her finish, and then pins her. But the referee is utterly confused as he's counting the pin in a soaking pile of water, and he's like, "But what happened? Why is the ring wet? Why do you think, you dum dum?" Oh,
I hate when that happens, though.
I hate referees and logic gaps.
Yeah,
It's like there's a big piece of a guitar in the ring. I wonder what happened. Why is one guy lying on the ground?
yeah,
Um, but yeah, no, it was a fun match. I really enjoyed this match. Cora Jade's heel character is a lot better than I thought it was.
yeah.
Um, but I'm gonna let you speak more to that because you've been watching her develop this heel character through and through.
Oh, sorry, Mel's comment just threw me off. Um, yeah, I feel like I did it at first when I thought about her being this like cute kind of girl. I didn't think she could pull out the heel character, but she has transformed it so well, and even keeping that weapon by her side as well. So I think it's been a good transformation, a good change for her so far. So I'm glad it happened when it happened. It was good timing for her.
Yeah, it was great. I really like she's bringing it into her offense.
Hmm.
Her heel persona isn't just an attitude or she's changing bits of her in ring style. Not a ton,
Hmm.
but a little bit. And yes, I would like to pass along the thank yous from our overlords at our local establishment that we'd like to thank everybody for being in the chat. It's really impressive. It's really nice to have an active chat. Yes, it gets me off the rails a little bit because that's what happens when I start talking.
Yeah,
But
squirrel.
yes, but the more that we talk and the more that we can engage with people, the more personal it feels and the better of a show that I think it is. So I would like to. All right, I'll stop using the word overlord. I don't like bosses. Bosses was someplace out in some different world. Cora Jade's character is better. She's green. I don't want to say she's average, Mary. I agree. She's not as accomplished as some people think she is, but she's getting there. She's still very, very young. She's what, 21, 22, something like that. She's
Hmm.
in her early 20s. She's got years and years ahead of her. And she's way more capable than some of the people being pushed on the main roster right now in a variety of companies. She's way, way better in the ring than somebody holding a blue title going off and fighting with a rapper. And we'll leave my AEW rants alone for
Yes,
now.
sir.
But after this match, Wendy Chu gets beaten, and there's this incredibly long, long stare down going back and forth between Cora Jade and Wendy Chu as Wendy Chu is crying and her fake eyelash is halfway down her face.
Yeah.
And um, it's just it felt like it went on for 20 to 30 seconds way too long. Like it was just like back. and forth. Like not
Mhm.
Kevin Dunn, like every 2 seconds they were switching. Like the girls each got their time to show, but it was like, why did we need 40 seconds of to a minute of this stare down? Like, cool, they're gonna have. If you want to have another match, fine. It was all right. I'll watch another match. I think both of them are going to be in the Iron Survivor. Um, but yeah, I enjoyed this match. Our local establishment is telling us when this is over, we're rating heel Kevin. So definitely go ahead and show him some love. And we'll bring this comment back up as we get closer to the show end of the show. We then had an Apollo Crews promo. Back to the old cafe where he started all this journey about a year or so ago. He went ahead and was writing in his journal, talking about how he's seen the visions coming true. Of a year ago, he stepped in the ring with Braun Breaker and told him he was coming for that championship. And now at Deadline, they're going to be going ahead and having that opportunity to go one on one. Are you excited for this Apollo Crews Braun Breaker match coming up at Deadline?
First of all, the first to start from the beginning on that part. I don't like this part of the visions with Apollo. It just why? Why is this happening? And then the visions like the one with Grayson Waller with him and bloody eyed, and we know that's not real. So just when you see that, it just Um, I'm looking forward to it in the end of Apollo because I know Apollo does really well. I'm just if Braun just retains the title, that's the part I'm not looking forward to because I've been wanting Braun to lose that championship now. So if he does win, that's the part that I'm like not excited for. But I feel like the match itself should be good. It's just a result that I'm like concerned about. I would say.
We did have the vision of Apollo Crews sitting in the ring, Shawn Michaels style, cradling the championship. So hopefully that means that good things are on the horizon and that Apollo Crews is going to be taking the NXT championship. Because I think Braun's done everything he can do right now with that title. And I'd also really love to see Carmelo Hayes or Tony D'Angelo versus
Hmm.
Apollo Crews for the championship. I think there's a lot of good that can come from
Hmm.
something like that. But, it is what it is, and we'll have to wait and see at Deadline what happens as far as that goes. We then had Kiana James from accounting backstage cutting a promo. And this guy came out again. Now, I saw his name. I wrote it down, Javier Bernal.
Yeah.
Um, I have no clue who he is. I have no idea why I had to listen to him talk about wrestlers that he wants to wrestle for 10 minutes. Like, he's Chris Jericho in, 2001 with a list of Jericho where he's talking about all the moves he knows. Um, can you explain to me who this guy is and why I need to care about Big Body Javi? I think he called himself a couple times or something like
Yeah.
that.
No, he did just something similar last week, and he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna go against Dragonov." And then Mackenzie would just tell him, Dragunov is in Germany, rehabbing his injury. And then he's like, I want to face this person. He's like, Did you not watch it last week? He's out too. And then he's going for a third person, and he's out too. And I'm like, okay. It just, I don't want to say torn, but I guess in a way I was because I get it. It shows him a little bit of his personality and it gives him a chance to talk a little bit more. But I just don't understand of like the overall thing of him naming people and that's all he says. So I was like, I want something more than that. But I don't know why I missed how he started in NXT for some reason. Parrish is the one that told me. I don't know what I missed when I missed him starting to begin with, or when I missed it because I feel like I'm always watching NXT. So I don't know how he started per se, but we've been seeing him more and more. He started with Hank Walker, first going against him for a little bit, and then now he's just naming people he can't face for some reason. You muted yourself. You're pulling a
I
parish.
muted myself. Sorry. Hank Walker is that guy that we had in a video clip later on that, he's the security guard, right?
Yeah.
We had Charlie Dempsey talking about him later on. Javier's fine. He seems semi interesting. It's just coming back as a viewer from multiple weeks away. I had no idea why I wanted to care about this guy and why he wanted to face an injured Axiom and
Yeah.
seemingly number 250 was the Undertaker. Like they talked about him being retired, and it also sounded like Christian because he kept saying one more match. So it's I think he was trying to say that it was Christian, but I mean, why would you bring that up? I don't know. It didn't make any sense. I have no idea. My notes literally have, and then some guy comes in and cuts a promo. Like that's the extent of my thing with him. Some guy, because I didn't care enough about him to figure out why I needed to care about him. We had Duke backstage with the rest of Chase University until they're interrupted by Pretty Deadly. And this is a fun little segment. Pretty Deadly is so entertaining. I may not understand them. I may not like their gimmick and their stuff. But you know what? They're entertaining. They can either draw heat or get cheers,
Mhm.
and they can wrestle in the ring. So you know what? Put them on TV because these guys are gold. And Duke Hudson was the linchpin of this show, where it was this whole thing was kind of he wasn't the main event linchpin, but it was like Duke Hudson said with Grayson Waller in the beginning, then segment here, and then later he tells Chase that they have a tag team title match, and then the actual match and everything that goes in with that. It's fun and interesting that that point. All right, we're gonna tell this story throughout the entire show. Um, but nothing really big happens, and then there's a brawl that
Mhm.
breaks out, and Duke gets beat up, and so then he goes running to Chase, and we go to the next thing, which is Ivy Nile eating James from accounting. But before we do that, we're going to go to a couple comments. So you have Turnbuckle popping in saying, I remember some guy from back in the day working in GLAPW. Yeah, like every promotion has a some guy that's just there that nobody knows and cares about. It was just like, again, this is mostly me taking 6 weeks, 8 weeks off of NXT, as a continuous. I watch every minute of it and just watch bits and pieces and go, who? Throwback to the Chris Jericho tag? Maybe. I mean, he
Well,
had
why mix
printer
up
paper
AW
with like the
people
little,
though?
because
Mhm.
it's the in to do to mention people that are taboo. I don't know. It's Javier Bernal. He's just some dude. Like he's not the guy. He's not a guy. He's just a guy. Like he's just a guy. A guy that's going to get his butt kicked by everybody he gets in the ring with. I assume. I don't know. No, 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 Barry. I will defend Chase U to the ends of the earth. Chase U is fantastic. Chase U is great. It's ridiculous and it works. I agree with the second two parts of this. It's not stupid. And the reason why it's not stupid is because it's mostly backstage stuff. Like in the ring, his in-ring style is completely different from the Chase U gimmicky things. Like, yeah, he does the Chase U stomp and he has the student section and all that. But for the most part, the Chase U gimmick is strictly the backstage stuff, and then he just wrestles in the blazer, which is, by the way, the most entertaining thing about this dude is the fact that he wrestles that entire match in a sweatshirt. But no, I will defend Chase U to the ends of the earth. Andre Chase is one of my favorite things about NXT, if it's not Mandy Rose, Carmelo Hayes, or Nikita Lyons. For those who are new to me, those are my four pillars of NXT. It's not Kevin Owens and Finn Balor and Asuka and Bayley and No, none of that. You got Mandy, Nikita, Andre Chase, Carmelo Hayes. Those are my four pillars of NXT. Parrish is never going to
No,
win.
I'm just
Back to
entertained over here.
back to NXT tonight. Ivy Nile defeats Kiana James from accounting with the help of Fallon Henley. I saw Ivy Nile's tag team partner, whose name I can't remember right now, but she was
Tatum.
outside the ring too. Yeah, that's the one, Tatum Paxley.
Yep.
She was out there too. Apparently, Kiana's still shooting with Fallon Henley. God knows why. I mean, it's
Well,
nice to at least
think it was last week. She went
something
to
about
the
a bar.
bar. Yeah, she offered her money for the bar, and that's when Fallon says like this is like a family thing, so it's been in my family for a while now. And she said some words about her family and the bar, and she didn't want to sell it to Kiana, so that's kind of how it started.
Mel says it won't be Finn Balor as a pillar of NXT until he goes back to shorts.
I agree.
Barry says Balor says everybody's favorite Von Wagner. We'll get to him later. He was entertaining tonight. He made me chuckle. Um, and then we have Carl sitting here saying, yes, the pillars of 2.0. Those are my pillars of 2.0. Granted, they are my own and they are personal, and I don't think anybody's going to agree with me, but those are my 4 pillars of NXT 2.0. But this match was okay. Kiana James from accounting is fine in the ring. Um, Most of this match, I was learning the specialties with the new software and running loops and videos and things like that. But no, most of this match was all right. It's nothing to write home about, but it's good that NXT is giving these younger women who need in ring time. They got 5 or 6 minutes to have a match. It was pretty good. There was obviously some spots that weren't the greatest, but that happens in a lot of wrestling matches. Kiana James from accounting has a very gimmick centric thing. Ivy Nile, it wrestles a style that I find very intriguing, and I want to see more done with her. And I hope that they're going to continue pushing her because I think she can be something different that they're missing, that they're lacking. AEW has a sort of a version of an Ivy Nile. I think Jade Cargill is a version of an Ivy Nile type of character. She's a big, strong, muscular woman without being a Nikita Lyons or a Jessica or people like that who are bigger. She's a big person in terms of height, Jade Cargill is. Ivy Nile, not so much, is a much smaller version. But in that is built this big, strong person who you would typically see on the men's side getting pushed to the moon. You know, muscles and the Vince McMahon style of guy, like a Chris Masters. She reminds me of a female, less stout Chris Masters. And I really enjoy that because her in ring style matches the type of thing that she's showing on the outside. Did you get a chance to check out much of this match?
No, but I just like thinking back at like what you said with Ivy. It just I think about it this way. Even since her debut, we see her do things here and there, but she hasn't been pushed like some of the other girls. It's like you see her 1 week and then she's out for a couple and then she comes back. So it hasn't been consistent for her on TV, which is unfortunate because she's talented. She does very well in the ring so far. I'm hoping maybe they'll include her in that Survivor Challenge match because I would like to see her highlighted in some kind of way. And it's just like I want that for her, and she's one of those people that you haven't seen her being highlighted in that way. Unfortunately, I don't know why. I've wondered why for a little bit now, because she does very well, and I feel like we usually don't hear promos from her. So I think I would like to hear her more often and to have her had that kind of practice in like in not only in ring time but on screen like all together, and we haven't had that with her so far, which is surprising in a way. But yeah, I would like to see her do something similar.
Yeah. And the thing I think that's the biggest dropped ball with Ivy Nile in my mind is the fact that, like you said, she's there, a week or two at a time, and then all of a sudden it's like she's gone 6 weeks. Even with the Diamond Mine stuff, it's like she'll be there and then all of a sudden she's missing. She'll miss from the promos. Speaking of which, Diamond Mine came out after the match and cut a promo talking about how they're not going to be taken advantage of, and I stopped listening because it's Julius Creed cutting a promo, and
No.
I don't know. I don't know. He didn't capture my attention. Speaking of something that did catch my attention. Oh, we got one more comment before we go to something that did catch my attention. I love Ivy. She's not seen enough. I love her as a single. I agree. I don't mind if it's singles or tag team. I agree with in the Hot Seat podcast. I just want to see more of her. If you're going to push her as a tag team wrestler with Tatum, fine. Push them to the moon in the tag team division. Make sure they're wrestling every other show. Get them in some kind of a feud. Hell, put them in a feud with Kiana James from accounting and Santino's daughter, who weren't they a tag team for a little bit there?
Yeah, but our Ariana Grace got injured, so that's why Kiana's
Oh,
now their
okay.
assistant most of the time.
Apparently, I'm hating on all of Cody's NXT favorites. I mean,
Dang.
I don't get me wrong. I love the Creeds. The Creeds are great. Just don't give them a microphone. Just let them wrestle. They're good at the wrestling thing. Don't. Roddy Strong was great for them because at least Roddy could talk. I don't like Julius on the mic. And I especially don't give Brutus the microphone. There's a reason why Brock Lesnar had a manager for all those years. I'm sorry, an advocate for all those years. Brock Lesnar can cut a promo. He can cut a damn good promo. But you don't want Brock Lesnar to cut a promo. You don't need Brutus to cut a promo either. You get them a manager. They had a manager, I think, and then they let him go, and now he's doing wonderful things in another company. It's like you could have just kept him. He was really good at the
Yeah.
talking thing.
Plus, if you think about it, Roddy was only seen in a hospital scene, which was very like telenovela out of it, which is so weird to see. And that was before the Damon Cap thing with
Yeah.
Julius. So just like they saw him at the hospital, here we visited you, you're fine, goodbye, and that's it. We haven't seen Roddy ever since. Nowhere to be found. Somebody put his picture on a milk carton, please. I want to know where Roddy is.
Speaking of something that did catch my attention, though, they had a really good promo segment here for Isla Dawn, introducing her character. She's a little bit of a witch. She's a little bit of an ethereal being, as she called herself at one point. Um, I was drawn in. She has an immaculate way of talking that draws you in. I'm a sucker for an accent. She has one of those. I've watched a lot of her stuff in NXT UK. I've watched a lot of her stuff on the British Indies before NXT UK. Um, as any of you who have watched me for a long time know, I fell into a really big rabbit hole of watching a lot of ICW and a lot of WCPW and Defiant Wrestling, where people like Piper Niven and Kaylee Ray and um, Isla Dawn were all featured competitors, and they were the stars of these divisions. So these women are people who are I'm knowledgeable about. I've seen them before. And I like seeing the evolution of this character. They gave her a reason to come after Kaylee Ray specifically. I'm like, cool. All right. You've given me, this is what my character's about. This is why I'm coming after Kaylee Ray. I mean, it's not the greatest of things. I felt drawn to you, so I had to attack you. All right. It's flimsy, but cool. You've checked the boxes. I'm here for this. Check. I'm here to come after you. Check. This is the kind of person I am. Check. Like, it's a successful minute and a half promo where you get an idea of who Isla Dawn is, what her character is going to be, and you move on. Not bad. Did you get a chance to see this promo?
No, but I was reading the subtitles that I had while I was doing Turnbuckle Talk, so I got a little bit of it. Well, the captions I was saying, not subtitles. But anyway, yeah, just I feel like this is a great way to like this is how it should be structured when you bring somebody in. Yeah, you had her, you intrigued the audience with her last week and the way it ended the show, and now this week you introduce her to those that don't know her, give us her name, what her character is about, and why she's aiming her and targeting. I was gonna say Kaylee Ray now, thanks to you, but yeah, just like you have those points that you need when before anything starts because now people are like, oh, now I want to know more of why she felt drawn to her. It's like I want to know why more of a reasoning why she's behind it. And not only that, but once you see them in the ring, you're gonna want more from them too. So I think it's interesting. It's a good foundation for not only Isla's character, but for the rivalry as a whole. So when I was reading the captions, I thought it was pretty interesting of like this is how you introduce a person when they come into the show. Exactly how it should be. Thank you.
Yeah, it was incredible. It's just basic wrestling storytelling. Tell me who you are. Tell me why you're here. Tell me why you attacked me. Cool. You did all those things. Great. We can move on, and she's a viable character. I don't have to wonder for 6 weeks who the hell this is going to be. Speaking of wondering for 6 weeks who the hell this is going to be, and having it be an utter disappointment to 99% of the people, except this guy who loved this person on Raw and SmackDown when they were out there. Scripps is debuted, and it's a really crap mask.
Yeah, to begin
And
with.
the music is cool, but the gimmick, the outfit needs some work. They could have taken a couple more weeks to get the outfit on point because it looks like a 10-year-old made it for a Thanksgiving project here. But for those who didn't see, it is Reggie. Reggie is Scripps. I don't understand why Reggie is the person who's going to take over NXT or whatever he was talking about in all those promos. But Reggie's back, which is nice. I liked Reggie. I thought he was great. I thought he was a slightly overused on the main roster and put into a position where he was never going to succeed. That being said, I think NXT is a great place for him. I would have just did, yeah, Red Bull.
No,
I
you
would have
said
just,
with that being said, so.
oh, do I have to drink now too? I'm not Parrish. I didn't think that counted. Um, but yeah, it was good to see him again. I still love this style of in-ring wrestling. Reggie has a unique style because of the fact that he's, from Cirque du Soleil. He has a very intriguing, interesting style. Nobody else wrestles like him, which is why I knew definitively who it was 5 minutes into the match, because I'm like, oh, yep, the flips. Okay, I know who this is. Are you disappointed?
Yes. I was ready for this to come up. Yeah, based on like the promos and the text and the wording that we got for the past couple weeks, I would have never in my mind expected Reggie to be this person. I was hoping it would be somebody new, maybe one of the recruits we haven't really seen. But to think of like Reggie and then versus like the wording that we got, it doesn't fit him. So I would have thought of him in that way. It just it doesn't fit him, and the mystery behind it either. It's just something that didn't fit. Not that I don't like Reggie. I like Reggie. Don't get me wrong, but it just like it felt like it doesn't fit with the character and everything that we got in the promos the last couple of weeks. I'm not intrigued in that way when it comes to that. Just the wording itself, I expected somebody different. I knew it was him the moment I saw the mask, and that's why I sent you the message like, is that supposed to be him? Good to know. Yeah, I
I
was
saw. I was like,
disappointed.
"Oh, I'm all excited." The music is cool. I don't mind the music. I know people are going to crap on the music. I thought the music's all right, but
Mm,
no, I was a little dumbfounded that Reggie it turned out to be Scripps. I thought Scripps was going to be something a little bit more
mysterious.
impressive.
I
But unfortunately, not so much the case.
Yeah, I
So
had no
we are
words.
stuck with Reggie as Scripps. Um, Speaking of words, we had lots of words coming up next as the Schism does a little sit down talk show style promo segment. The Schism comes out to the ring, all four of them, with Ava Rain, along with the other members of the dyad, to come out there, and they talk about the Schism Invictus Day that is being brought to us, as Joe Gacy called it. Talking about how Thanksgiving is a time of giving thanks and shredding transgressions. Um, Again, Gacy's great at this stuff. Like, he's just an entertaining promo. The guy can't miss. Um, I like the fact that we had Ava Rain talking about a lot about family
Mhm.
in her portion of this promo, and talking about how like family can't get along, and family can't, around Thanksgiving, family has issues and family has all these trauma and all these problems. And I'm like, yeah, you know, it's just convenient that you're talking about all this and you're talking about the Anawahi family. Like, I
Mhm.
know you're not an Anawahi. She's not quite an Anawahi, but she is an Anawahi. And it's, you know, bleeding into the Survivor Series stuff where you have the bloodline and everything else. I mean, she cuts this promo. Now she's going to go home on Thursday and have dinner with The Rock. Like, you know, it is what it is, but it was great. I loved it. She goes out and she gets a plant from the crowd, and they bring it up. I For a minute there, I thought it was the if anybody had seen it on their digital exclusives, they had a deaf wrestler coming to the company, and I swear I thought it was him for like half this promo, because Gacy like kind of like grabbed his like arm and kind of like made sure he was looking at him the whole time, and this kid is just staring up at Gacy and just like, I thought he was reading Gacy's lips to make sure he was keeping along with the promo, to know where he has to nod and smile. But it was a really good promo, and Gacy cuts this great promo talking about how, the crowd's chanting sacrifice, sacrifice, and I'm like, uh-oh, you keep chanting sacrifice, we're gonna have Scott Steiner out here trying to do math. You gotta calm down, crowd. You're in Florida, you can't be talking about sacrifice without Scott Steiner out there, and Braun Breaker's close enough. But no, I really like this. Gacy cuts this great promo. And Ava Rain goes ahead and gives this guy a hug. And you can see her nails digging into his shoulder blade as Gacy starts talking about how the schism is no longer asking for new members. The schism is no longer looking to help people. They're now going to hurt people. And I'm like, huh, help, hurt. Where have I heard these things before? Big red circle. Is Joe Gacy going to be part of the Wyatt Six? Maybe. I doubt it,
Mhm.
but maybe. Because there are rumors that Joe Gacy played the Fiend in the at what was that? What show was that? WBPLE that Bray Wyatt came back at.
I was gonna say SummerSlam, but it's not SummerSlam.
No, it wasn't SummerSlam.
I lost
I
track
don't
at
know.
this point.
Yeah,
What, Extreme Rules? No, I
no,
forgot
maybe the other one, the one the time that Bray Wyatt returned, the Red
that one.
Circle, as Carl says, the Red Circle, part of the Wyatt Six. But no, it was a great promo. Then Gacy goes ahead and gives him a choke slam, rock bottom type thing right through a table. It was great. It hit all the points it needed to. Gacy's a master of a mic. It was a good use of 10 minutes. Do you have any thoughts on this? Like, again, I feel like I'm talking a lot, but you were semi busy tonight, so it's like I know you're light on opinion. So
Hmm. No, I saw this tweet from Denise with the quote, and I like that I was able to read it because it was Ava's part. But she said, "Blood relatives cannot guarantee a united family, but the schism can be counted on." And I like how even though her character doesn't have the Onawahi or Johnson name on screen, you just see her talking so much about family, and it just keeps reminding you that even though she's herself, she's part of that family. And I think it's interesting to see her like, even though she's making a name for herself outside of their name, bringing back those references back to her real family. So it's interesting to, like, whenever she does a promo so far, she has mentioned a family somehow in some way. So I think that the way she's been doing it's been pretty interesting. It has intrigued me so far versus like my family versus schism kind of situation so far in her promo. So I've been enjoying that too.
yeah, like she's hinting at the idea that there's a like that we all know who she is, and people are like, "Oh, how dare you like take her and put her in her group?" And it's like, no, she's all on board for you
Mm-hmm.
know not taking the Johnson name straight to the top, and she's like, "I want to do something a little different," and it's a chance for her to take a pot shot or two at family and things like that. Because maybe her dad wasn't around all the time for her because he's off making a movie and he's off doing this and he's off doing that and he's making tequila and running the XFL and all these other things and he's not around. Like there's a lot of potential for her to really crap on Rocky. Vague tweeting kind of thing. I call it vague tweeting because that's the only way I know how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But she can say all the things she needs to say, off to the side and just kind of get through the whole point without saying it out loud, which is an impressive feat. So I really enjoyed that. After the schism, we got Trick Williams out back with Mackenzie Mitchell, and I love seeing Trick. Trick makes me smile. He's great. But then Wesley comes out and starts talking to him about how he always gets involved in Carmelo Hayes' matches. And Trick goes, no. Melo can beat you without me. He doesn't need me. He's like, oh, so you're not going to be getting involved? And he's like, no, I'm not going to get involved. He's like, all right, cool. So you're not going to be out there. And Wesley walks away, and Trick's like, no.
Yeah.
Crap. Trick got tricked.
Good. No, that was funny. I was watching I couldn't hear, but I was watching that part of it. So it was pretty funny the way they did it. And I'm glad it happened too at the same time. So good timing on that.
Really good timing. It was really fun, interesting, and it's a little bit different. It's a way to get rid of Trick Williams because the one thing about Carmelo Hayes, people talk about how it's like, oh, these heels need somebody to do something and to always be involved. The one thing about Melo is Melo doesn't need Trick. He's not there to beat her, that he's like always getting involved and helping, Carmelo Hayes win the match. He's just out there supporting his buddy and he often gets involved, but it's not normally the finish of the match. Normally 5 minutes after Trick gets to the finish of the match. Kind of like tonight. Nice. And Saka, um, God, this girl's entrance is a lot. Like
It
it's
reminds
like
me of
Charlotte
Charlotte.
Flair, but Charlotte Flair on
Yeah.
steroids.
It's like Charlotte when she started.
Charlotte Flair on steroids. Like
Yeah.
she does like a little flippy flip, and she does like leg split thing, and she does all this crazy
Hmm.
stuff. But like at the end of the day, like it's a whole lot for nothing because her promo was uh, TikTok words and they form sentences, but not anything. She's easily could I tell this but pretty candidly as she would do. Uh, she goes after the match. Nikita Lyons comes out looking fantastic as always and goes ahead and stops the beatdown. I mean, two thumbs up. We had Nikita Lyons in a segment, so obviously it couldn't have been that bad. Much of this match.
It just I feel bad for Soul in a way because she's not ready to be on TV. I know you obviously do this to gain that experience in the ring time, but so far it hasn't been great for me watching her. I was excited once I saw the vignettes for her, but once the first match happened, I just now downhill from there for me. Um, but I love the part of having Zoe involved because now I think it says Zoe and Nikita, and it just builds not only Nikita but Zoe as a heel as well. So I enjoy that part of it that we get to see that hopefully soon. I wonder if it'll be for Deadline because it'll be interesting to see another women's match, but they could also be competitors in the Iron Survivor. So I don't know, but I think either way, I'm be excited for Zoe and Nikita facing off.
Yeah, Zoe Nikita is definitely where this is headed. I have both of them penciled right in there to the Iron Survivor match. I don't think either one of them is winning that Iron Survivor, unfortunately, but I have them
Hmm.
both penciled in, as well as some of the other women that we see. I believe it's right after this. Nope, nope, it's a little bit later. So after this, we get Von Wagner backstage with Team BB. I mean, with Malik and Malik Blade and Idris Enofe, and Von Wagner is being approached to go out with them and Odyssey Jones. I don't know why you would think Von Wagner is going to hang out with Odyssey Jones, Malik Blade, and Idris Enofe, but they thought he was going to come hang out with them, and he doesn't. But he's entertaining. He's like, "Oh yeah, I want to get dancing." No, it's Enofe and Blade, Enofe and Blade. Um, but yes, they get their crap beat out of them, and Vaughn rips one of their shirts, and they come back, and the crowd seems really upset about this.
Yeah,
Why is the crowd upset about the dude getting his shirt ripped? Can you
was it
explain this?
Malik's sweater?
Yeah, it's like a
Yeah,
vest or something, a sweater
yeah.
vest.
It was random the way it happened, but I feel like this timing should have been when he first started to give us this kind of introduction. But he tells us that he's wearing the Odyssey Jones asked him why he's wearing that sweater all the time like this, that kind of style. And he just tells him, this is something that I think my dad used to wear. So my dad passed away, so I keep it in his honor. So it's like a lot of people like feel that sentimental value that he has with it now. But I just like it was so random how it was introduced. They could have introduced him when he first joined NXT. It was on screen in NXT for the first time. I don't know why it happened now, but that's why people were upset then.
Okay, so that makes more sense as to why. Because, like I said, I thought it was really random that they were like, he's tearing his shirt, and the crowd's going, "Oh," and I'm like, "It's a shirt. Like, it wasn't that good a shirt. I mean, it was fine, but it wasn't that pretty." But that makes a little bit more sense. We then get Chase U coming out, but first, when we come back from break, we have to have a Charlie Dempsey promo segment. This is really cool. I like the whole, vintage, old school wrestling fighter look of Charlie Dempsey. I like the way that they're bringing him back to old school. I think Papa Smokes would like this guy a whole lot. I'm actually interested to talk about to Bobby and Papa Smokes about what Papa Smokes' opinion might be of this guy because I think he harkens back to that kind of an era, and it could be real fun to find out. But there's this absolutely genius, stupid moment. The last words of Charlie Dempsey's promo, and this is what I was wondering if Astrid picked up on, is wrestling is a serious business. The moment he finishes the word business, it cuts back to the ring and Pretty Deadly's music hit. And I go, yeah, because that's not complete opposite ends of the spectrum. With it being a serious business, the wrestling business, and then having fucking Pretty Deadly coming out.
Looking.
Oh, it was so funny. It was they could they could not have planned that, right? Like that had to be just pure dumb luck that the two segments were backed up against each other like that, right?
I mean, I love it, so I don't. I hope it's not dumb luck.
Did you notice it the same way I did, where you're like, "Oh, that's obviously weird."
No, the funny thing is, Carl was tuning in to watch it, and he starts talking about crop tops, and I'm like, I don't see anything yet. I'm on commercial here, and then he starts talking about the people. He's like, wait, you're behind, aren't you? I'm like, yeah, I'm on a stream that I shouldn't be using, but it's the only way I can watch it. So yeah, just like the timing of it, I was like, oh, now I know what you mean, but I didn't get to hear it, so I think this is funny when you said that. With ironically, when we all had a same like a funny situation with that segment too.
Yeah, like Charlie Dempsey cuts this really great promo where he's talking about all the young guys of NXT, and he singles out the North American title guys. He singled out specifically Wesley and Carmelo Hayes, and he goes, these guys have, they spend more, and Grayson Waller was specifically spoken about as well. You talk about them finding more time finding their attire and the clothes they're going to pick out that day than working out. And he says, all I need for my workout is a deck of cards. And he starts like flipping cards throughout the promo. It's really interesting and different. I don't understand what the cards mean in terms of the workout, but whatever. Um, but he's an oddball character. He's kind of crazy and I like it. So I'm excited to see what continues going on. I know he was challenging Braun Breaker for the NXT Championship on the house show loop this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
I even sent you a picture of it. I'm like, that's an interesting title match that I wouldn't mind seeing
Right.
later on. Like
Mm-hmm.
Charlie Dempsey versus Braun Breaker. Yeah, I'd be down for that match. You could put that
Mm-hmm.
on TV and I'd watch.
Yeah, very true.
We have a really good match between Andre Chase University with Chase and Duke Hudson versus and we have just gotten a raid, so I don't think we're going to be rating um Heel Kevin today, as Heel Kevin has said King Hipster #2. Thank you, Heel Kevin, for the raid. We greatly appreciate it. Thank you to all from the Heel Kevin army. We always raid each other back and forth. Heel Kevin is a fantastic streamer, so I hope you had a great stream tonight. Thank you for joining us. For those of you that are joining us, it's great. We're sitting here talking about NXT. We're a couple segments away from the main event, so go ahead and join us because that's going to be a North American title match. Right here, we have an impromptu tag team title match between Duke Hudson and Andre Chase versus Pretty Deadly. Now, I know you got to see most of this match. What did you think about this?
I mean, I was telling Carl, I was like, you think of Pretty Deadly when you first see them, and it looks so ridiculous at first that you're like, they're not gonna be great. But I feel like when you see them wrestle, they keep you intrigued, and I love them as a tag team so far. I felt weird even watching Chase, Andre Chase with Duke Hudson teaming up. So when I saw them, I was like, well, interesting. I never thought about this combination yet as a tag team, but it was pretty cool. Like I enjoyed watching Pretty Deadly though.
Yeah, and we're getting a few more people coming over from the raid. We got Shannon 2011 here. Thank you for joining us, and continue watching if you want to hear more about tonight's NXT. Yeah, I really like this match. My favorite moment of this match is probably the moment that Asha doesn't is no she knows what's coming. Tia Hale gets up on the ring apron and she gets absolutely decked by Elton Prince, and I couldn't have been happier. It was fantastic and delightful and everything great. But Duke Hudson runs over to try to check on her because he's a good guy now and he's checking on somebody that's good. Like, it's bringing this character back to life. Like Duke Hudson is like, no, I'm a good guy. I check on people when they get hurt. But while he's
Mhm.
doing that, he misses the tag from Chase. Chase finally gets the tag to Duke Hudson, and Duke starts going wild, and then he tags in Andre Chase half dead and not really in the right frame of mind to be in the wrestling match. and I hate agreeing with Booker T. God, what Duke Hudson? Why did you make me have to agree with Booker T? This is not what I want, Duke Hudson. Don't make me agree with Booker T. By the way, can you tell this is the first time I had to watch Booker T?
Hmm.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my
I watch
god!
NXT on mute.
You don't miss much. Shucky Ducky Quack Quack, Fave 5, it's all still there. I can't believe
Mhm.
it. It's all still there.
Yeah.
Um, it is nice, though. It is very nice to know that no matter who comes and who goes in that NXT team, somebody will always, I saw this online, somebody in that team will always be simping for Mandy Rose, which is just fantastic. And I love it. And it's great. But in this match, Tia Hale gets knocked down. They miss the tag. Duke comes in. He tags in Andre Chase for God knows why he would do that. It makes no sense to go ahead and make that tag, but he does. And it starts working well. And then Duke Hudson goes ahead and gives the big boot right to the face of Andre Chase. That leads to spilt milk, which leads to the 1, 2, 3. And Pretty Deadly have defended their tag team titles. Pretty Deadly's great. I really enjoy Pretty Deadly. This match was fantastic from an in-ring perspective, but it told a story. It finishes the story that we started all the way in the beginning with Grayson Waller being like, "No, you're a bad guy. Why, you're a heel. All these things." And it's like, "No, I'm a good guy." And Duke Hudson feels upset that he's the one that caused the loss. And he's apologizing to Andre, and Andre accepts the apology. Because by the end, they're walking out hand in hand, all three of them together. God, I can't wait for them to get rid of Tia Hale. God, I don't want her on this program. I really wish she went to a real college.
I tell you, this was gonna happen.
Oh, yes, and as Carl says, those were not crop tops. Those were sleeves with string across the top to hold the sleeves together. In ring, great, but my eyes, my eyes. Yeah, but see, it's not always bad because they do this thing way better than the guys who are way more like popular on the other show that just came back at a pay-per-view, who do the same crappy like look, and they don't do it half as good. So, yeah, so I get any chance to crap on AEW and the Young Bucks, I'm going to take it.
I know.
We then get a backstage segment with Roxy and Nikita Lyons on TikTok. I didn't know WWE had a TikTok. I don't know if this is on Roxanne's TikTok or Nikita. I don't understand. Like, I send you TikToks because I barely understand how I literally open the app and I just float through. So, like, if I don't see it on my page, like, I don't search for things. So, like, I don't understand how the TikTok works. Yes, Pretty Deadly is more elite than any other, wrestlers using that style of gimmick. And we have, after being spoiled by Kevin Kelly and then by Tom Hannafin and Matt Raywalt, I can't fathom watching an unbearable commentary team. Yeah. See, Vic Joseph makes it bearable, but just. It's just sad because we had a really good team with him and Wade Barrett were like the epitome of great. They were really good. Like, no, were they all timers like Monsoon and Heenan? No, but they had this really great chemistry that worked, similar to with Michael Cole and Pat McAfee. They're not going to be an all-time great commentary team, but they work. The same with, like Cody says here, Tom Hannafin and Matt Raywalt. They're a really good team that just sort of works together as a good commentary team. But we have what do we say? The Omen fan saying you don't know how the TikToks work. Yeah, I know it's an app that sucks up my time, but like apparently there's a way to find people on the TikTok, and I don't understand that. I just scroll through and I like TikToks, and I start seeing all the TikToks of the same thing I like, and I realize I can't have my TikTok on in front of other people because half the TikToks I watch are not appropriate. But anyways, moving on. We get Roxy and Nikita Lyons who are backstage at a house show doing something on TikTok. And apparently Indy Hartwell is very upset with Roxanne. I didn't know they were friends. Have they been friends for long? Is this something new?
No, I guess on TV at least they really didn't show them as friends, but now with the way Indy has been like focusing on herself, Roxanne went up to her and was like, "Hey, what you did to Tatum last week was messed up because she took off her, her face mask with her injury and everything." And she's like, "Well, I have to do what I have to do to get into the Iron Survivor match, so that's what I have to do. I'll do it." And Roxanne being the good kind of just like, but you could have not done that. So I just when I saw the little clips, I wasn't listening to it, but I saw the little clips of when that happened. So it makes sense the way they're like now she doesn't agree with what Roxanne's doing either.
Yeah, like she's like, yeah, but you're not watching my match, and it's like, well, why what are you? What? Like Indy, I don't get it. Why are you upset that she's not watching? Like, why do you care if she watches your match? Like, it's not like she's doing this at ringside with Nikita Lyons. She's doing it behind the stage at a house show. I mean, if I was a wrestler at a house show, I probably wouldn't watch Indy's Hartwell's match either. I mean, eh, I missed the way, but Indy Hartwell was always the worst part of the way.
Oh my
She's nothing.
god.
She's nothing without Dexter. She was only good when she had Dexter. I miss Index. I'll say it.
I do miss
We have
this
in the
Dexter.
hot seat. We have in the hot seat podcast to the TikTok feature. Yeah, I like the integration of
Hmm.
TikTok into like the promo segments. It made it feel like it's better than a .com exclusive. It
Hmm.
makes you want to follow the wrestlers on TikTok to see these weird, dumb things that happen backstage. I like that idea. It makes me feel like I'm getting an inside look. Yes, it's all done precisely for the cameras because you have Electra Lopez standing 20 feet away with with her
Hmm.
camera on her own TikTok at the exact same time. Like all of them are on TikTok all at once. Like that would never happen. But wrestling, so yeah, it did. But you get Electra Lopez, and she's like, "Well, I guess I'm not the only one that has a problem with Indy Hartwell." And I'm like, "All right, well, I guess there's the Iron Survivor match." So my prediction for the women's Iron Survivor is going to be Roxanne, Electra Lopez, Indy Hartwell, Zoe Stark, and Nikita Lyons. That's my prediction for the women in the Survivor. Do you think I'm wrong in any of that? Do you think there's somebody else who belongs in that match, or who's going to be included in that match?
To me, it just depends if they decide, depending on the timing, if they decide to do Nikita and Zoe separate. But like I said, it just goes back to my point earlier of like, if they do put them in, then they already have a feud going on, so they're gonna focus on each other versus the other three are gonna focus on themselves. And like I think like India, she's picking up wins, so it makes sense for her to be part of it. Roxanne is Roxanne. She's been off TV in the sense of like we haven't seen her wrestle, but she's done well enough already that she can be part of it. And I feel like it will be good for Electra to mix up what the girls have experienced. So it makes sense.
What's a TikTok? Is that carrying across the sand clock? Sorta, kinda.
Yes, Cody.
It's
Yes, it
also
is.
it's also the thing that KC Squared do all their stupid dances on that I don't understand because I don't understand TikTok dances. But again, that's just me being a boomer and an old man. Anyways, we then get the notification that next week we're getting Roxy versus Indy Hartwell, which will be nice. Again, it just lines up more to me that that's going to be two of the five that are going to be in that match. And then we get our main event, and our main event was fantastic. I mean, I did I did like how they tried to play off. So Wesley comes out to the ring, and he comes out from a boulder, from behind a boulder in a rock. And it took everything in me to not write in my notes. Wow, they're just telling us they found this guy behind a rock and he don't matter. Like it's trying to be like he's overcoming boulders and barriers, and I'm like, couldn't you have gotten a bigger rock if that's the case? Like it's this little itty bitty thing that he's like super crouched down so that you couldn't see him. Like
And the angle too. The camera angle was like in a
really
certain way.
bad. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
really straight on as opposed to like being on the ground looking up. Like it it didn't do what they wanted it to do. We do have takeout Ava Rain, Isla Dawn, Alba Fire. See, like I think we might get Isla Dawn, Alba Fire at the show because we're not having a women's championship match. So I think there's going to be a big women's match. So we're either getting Nikita might be out of the match, and we might get Casey squared and Nikita versus Toxic Attraction. And then you have a spot for an Ava Rain or an Isla Dawn or an Alba Fire. I just don't think I don't think there's a reason to put Alba Fire back in this match after she just lost her second straight opportunity at trying to take down Mandy. There's no reason to have Isla Dawn in the match because that's just going to mean that you're going to have Alba Fire involved. That's just kind of pointless for Isla Dawn. And I also don't think she's earned the spot in that kind of a match. But I think that the five I listed, while Elektra Lopez isn't exactly at the level to have a women's championship match, she's a believable person who could go up against Mandy and lose. Mm-hmm. So if you have to have a fifth, I think she fits in. Plus, she seems to be fitting into this Roxanne Indy Hartwell story. Because I think coming out of this, I would predict right now, without knowing who's going to be in it, that Roxanne wins this match, and then that Roxanne's going to be the one to dethrone Mandy Rose.
Amen.
I talk about the forever champion. I know she's not going to be the champion forever. I think by the begin shortly after the beginning of the year, the first PLE for NXT coming out, because we did hear tonight that Deadline is the final PLE of the year for WWE. They said NXT, but they mean WWE because there is no day one. There's nothing else. So it's going to be the final PLE for WWE in its entirety. I don't think Mandy defends the title and loses it on a random NXT. Mm-hmm. I think Roxanne wins this going closer to the Royal Rumble. I wouldn't be surprised to see Mandy in Toxic Attraction debut in the main roster after the Royal Rumble. I don't even think she gets a shot to retake her title. I think they just push her right back to the top of the women's division on SmackDown. But no, I really like the Iron Survivor on the women's side. I think that would make a really fun match. You've got some people in there who can really, run that match with Indy Hartwell and Roxanne. As young as she is, she's enough of a ring general to be able to help lead some of those other people in that match. And I think putting in people like Zoe and Nikita and Elektra are going to get them some much needed in-ring time. So I think that would be a fun, and like I said, the entire concept to me is interesting. It may be crap once we see it in place, but leading into it sounds pretty good. What do you think on the men's side for the Iron Survivor before we get into our main event? Because I have a 5, and it's an odd 5, but I have a 5.
I think probably Grayson. Mm-hmm. I feel like he's been on and off when it comes to that. Maybe Carmelo if he's out of like the title picture for the North American, but we'll see about that.
We've watched the show. We know what happened. He lost. Yeah. It is what it is.
I'm hoping that's the end of it because I really want him to be in that world title match picture, and so I'm hoping this is it for him doing that. Sure. Why can't I think of more people?
Well, how about I help you with a couple more names? Mm-hmm. So I think you're right. Grayson Waller, I think, is a really good name. I would also agree with Carmelo Hayes. Give me Tony D'Angelo. I would have said Tony D'Angelo was involved in the North American title picture, but I think the end of the show gave us the direction of the North American title picture in the near future, that I think you might have time to do Tony D'Angelo in the world title picture for a split second. Mm-hmm. I also say, why don't you give me Von Wagner? I know we don't like him. I know he's boring, but he's a big guy, and I think you kind of need a big guy in this match.
You surrounded me too, depending on how the injury goes. Axiom and Nathan could be part of it. Nathan was part of this last match, but Axiom wasn't part of it. So I think it'll be cool for him to be part of it. Plus, with the high flying spots, it'll be interesting during the type of match itself.
I also think my 5th is JD McDonough. Speaking of Axiom and injuries, I think JD McDonough squirms his way into this match. So I think it would be JD, Von Wagner, Tony D'Angelo, Carmelo Hayes, and Grayson Waller. Yes, that's heel heavy. Yes, you have two faces facing off against each other for the championship at the PLE. You need to have a heel heavy match
Yeah.
because no matter who comes out of that championship match, they're going to need a heel to fight with.
Yeah.
Like, unless you're turning one of them heel, which I don't see. Like maybe Apollo turns heel, but I doubt it. There's no real reason for it.
No.
But no, that's what I think. I think we're getting, and I think Carmelo Hayes comes out of this. I think Carmelo Hayes is the
Mm-hmm.
perfect opportunity and the perfect choice to come in number 4 and go ahead and win this match from the 4 spot. Sneak in a couple quick victories, with his style that it perfectly suits his character to come in 4 or 5 and go ahead and win it. Parrish going ahead and dropping his 5 with JD, Hayes, Waller, Cruz, and Dragunov. Yeah, if Dragunov's healthy, pop him in this match. I can easily pop
Mm-hmm.
out Tony D'Angelo for Dragunov. Cruz can't be in the match because Cruz is in the title match at the same night. But
Mm-hmm.
I get where you're going with that. Yeah. Um, there's all kinds of 5s on the men's side. Like the women's side is a whole lot more compact. There's only so many
Yeah.
names that are getting in that match, just because so many of the other ladies are just not ready. Ivy Niles not ready. Sol Roca's not ready. Tatum Paxley's not ready. Fallon's not ready. Kiana's not ready. Tiffany Stratton, when she comes back, isn't ready um, from her injury.
Oh, I
Uh,
forgot. I forgot I mentioned Cora too. Like I think Cora it's another one. Yeah.
Cora could be in this match.
So I was just thinking of
Take out
like,
Electra.
yeah, because
Take out
Cora has
Electra.
been taking the wins enough. Sorry, like
Yeah.
Indy to go in there already. So I think that would be Zoe, Nikita, Cora, Roxanne, and then
Indy.
Indy. So I think
Yeah.
those are my 5. Yeah.
I don't think you make the cut. I mean, Wendy Chu's great and all, but I don't think she's making the cut for the Iron Survivor.
No.
She's gonna want to sleep too much. It's 25 minutes long. She's not gonna want to wrestle that long.
Hey, that's enough time already.
That's definitely nap time. Getting back to our main event, we have Carmelo Hayes coming out. Has he been doing the I am him entrance long? Like, is this something brand new for tonight?
Yeah, I noticed that like when I was watching Carl's like I usually he wears the shirts with like the people that he's gonna go against. So I was expecting him to have a shirt with Wesley on it in some way. So when I saw that, I thought it was interesting. I don't know if maybe Parrish can correct me, but I don't remember watching him do that before tonight. And even the gear itself, because I'm used to like the shorter kind of gear, so they had long pants too.
Cody says that Wendy could nap for 20 minutes and then wake up to get 5 pins in 5 minutes. She could.
True.
She could. Um, but she'd only get 4 because they got the timeout section in there. It's what, 2 minutes of timeout every time you get pinned or submitted or lose a fall.
Yeah. It's
Um,
you get 90 seconds and
is it 90
yeah.
seconds?
Yeah.
Got a little WWE. They can't just do a minute or 2 minutes. It's 90 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to have a stopwatch out to see if it's actually 90 seconds like a Royal Rumble
Right.
match or not.
Mm-hmm.
But this North American title match was just fantastic. I mean, was it ever going to not be fantastic with these two
Mm-hmm.
guys in the ring? These guys are just, their styles match each other, but it's not too much of the same thing. Carmelo Hayes is a lot more of he's a little bit more of a bruiser than a high flyer. Wesley is like a Rey Mysterio type high flyer. It's a lot of high flying stuff like that. Whereas Mello is kind of a mix between a high flyer, like an Eddie Guerrero, I say. Mello reminds me a lot of like an Eddie Guerrero, where he's got that high flying, but he can do the technical grapple stuff too really, really well. I really, really enjoy Carmelo Hayes and everything he does. I've been watching him for years on the indie circuit out here. What did you think of this match? What did you think of the decision to have Wesley go over?
I already thought about and I already knew in my mind that it was gonna end up being with Wesley winning. Like I said it just a few minutes ago. I kept thinking it's time for Carmelo to move on from this. And yeah, he could win the championship again, but it's just like it'll be the same thing all over again where he basically has faced a lot of the guys already as it is. And I want something new and fresh for him. And I would like him to be in that world title picture. So that's why the main reason why I wanted him to lose was because of that. Not in any type bad way. But yeah, these two, the chemistry was amazing. I love watching them together. I wish I could watch them more often, but like I said, I just want Carmelo to move on from this at this point. So yeah, it was a great match. They meshed so well together. I love watching them. But yeah, just it's time for Kamala to go on to bigger and better things.
Yeah, Mello is going quickly to the. I think Mello might be main roster bound come Royal Rumble. I don't think he's long for the NXT world, but I would love to see him have at least one opportunity at Braun Breaker in the NXT Championship. I'd much rather see it be Apollo Cruz versus Carmelo Hayes. I think that would be a much better style match than Braun Breaker. I don't think Breaker and Hayes would have as good a match. Um, but yeah, no, it was a fun match. I really enjoyed it. Booker T is apparently a big Carmelo Hayes fan. It seemed like he definitely in Booker T's fave five as Book. Oh
Mhm.
God, Booker, I hate you. Can I have Wade Barrett back? Really, please? Can I have Wade Barrett back? I don't send Booker to SmackDown. Michael Cole will love working with Booker T. It'll be great. Michael Cole won't hate that at all.
Yeah.
Um, but no, this was a fun match. And then as we were getting ready to start the show, and me and Ash were sitting here going over a few last minute things, I went, "Oh shit!" As we had the debut of the Terminator. Donovan Dijak. We don't know what name he's going by. It could be
Mm-hmm.
Dominic Dijakovic. It could be Donovan Dijak. I always know him as Donovan Dijak. I've called him that for 10 years on the Indies
Mm-hmm.
out here. NXT bar. That's a really good one. I like that one. But he has a brand new like look. Like he's got a flat top haircut. I think it's spray painted gray. Like I think he's got like gray hair and like grayish black pants. Oh, gotta credit that one to Joel Pearl. All right, we always give credit where credit is due. Joel Pearl's a fantastic human being. Does a lot of good stuff. So go ahead and check out their stuff over with. I forget where Joel Pearl is at, but if you search Joel Pearl on the internet, you'll find out where he's at. He does great stuff. But no, we have Dijak back in NXT, and he goes ahead and absolutely yes, he's with Fightful. I knew there was a reason I was forgetting it. Um, but yeah, no, he's Dijak is back, and he absolutely just laid out. I did like. Did you notice this? Wesley's looking up, and it's like still North American champion, and also like prison bars come across it,
Mm-hmm.
and then all of
Yeah.
a sudden that's when he gets attacked. I'm like, that's really cool. I like that.
Yeah.
Um,
I was so focused on that. That's what I was wondering. Who is it based on just that little graphic that we got?
yeah,
And you said, "Oh shit!" And I was like, "Don't say anything," because I want to get my natural reaction when I watch it. So yeah, I was waiting for you to tell me that it was done, so I could know what was coming up for me. But yeah, just the way it came up, really well done. And like I said, just the Terminator look though.
it looked great. He looks like like is it the best gimmick in the world? No, it's probably not going to be the best gimmick in the world. But you know what? It's a hell of a lot more him than T Bar was. Um, if he gets to wrestle like he was wrestling when he was wrestling Keith Lee as Dominic Dijakovic, it's going to be fine. Like, just let him go and he'll be fine. Um, but great, he's in the North American title picture. Great, he's a perfect he's a perfect second challenger for that North American Championship. And it gives Tony D'Angelo a little bit of time because I think Tony D might be the person to take the title off Wes. Um, we got In the Hot Seat podcast coming in and saying, I'm glad he isn't T Bar anymore. He's more himself again. Yeah. Maybe this is a NXT seems to be a lot more people be doing gimmicks that are more them. They
Hmm.
seem to have more control over what's going on and things like that. So I'm all in for things like that with going and doing stuff like that. But Dijak's back. He's in the North American title picture. I don't think he's in the Iron Survivor. I think this clearly puts him in that North American title picture. And that's why I said it kind of gives me that leeway to say maybe Tony D sneaks into that match because, well, he's not wrestling Wesley next week. That's for damn sure.
I thought
Because
I saw
Wesley
him. I don't know if it was when Wesley was getting into the arena.
making his
Tony.
entrance. Yeah. Well, so
Yeah.
when Wesley was making his way into the building, he had a
Hmm.
verbal back and forth with Tony, and he told
Hmm.
Tony, "You know where to find me when I win tonight."
Hmm.
And then before he comes out to the ring, they're doing the backstage shot of them walking towards the ring, and you see Tony D'Angelo again hidden behind, not trying to skulk up and attack him, just standing in the background watching. Again, great things by NXT, planting that seed. Hey, Tony D'Angelo, you know where to find me later on in the show. He's just standing there in the background watching. He doesn't need to attack you. He's going to let you do your thing. NXT is so good with stuff like that, where in the old days it would be an attack. And then, Wesley would have to fight from underneath. Nope. Wesley and Carmelo Hayes get to have an incredible match all on their own. Now, Astrid, I believe you give your natural rating of the week for every NXT show. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. So go ahead and give that while I get your information up so you can go ahead and tell everybody where to find you.
Well, like I said, I didn't get to see everything. But from what I saw, we had so many women involved tonight. Plus, the main event was incredible. So, from what I saw, at least, when I had to rewatch it, I'll give it at least a 4 out of 5.
Yeah, and tell the people where they can find you and all the fun things that you've been up to this week.
Well, I'll be resting. No, I'm kidding. I'm not. My Twitter is Astrid Pizarro. Instagram is Astrid Pizarro 20. Thursday, making an impact with Cody right after MLW review, which is with Bobby and Papa Smokes. So watch them and then watch us afterwards. And then if you go on my YouTube, you can find my latest episode of Astrid Ask with Billy Starks and latest episode of Ladies Wrestling Showcase. Bill and I talked with Kayla about the horsewomen, so it was fun. I know it's a long episode, but we get to have fun while we talk about women's wrestling. So that was a fun episode as well. So yeah, all that's on my YouTube. And on the weekends, I do my NXT review with women's wrestling talk. So that's all on their socials. How about you, sir?
Yeah, but no, before we get to me, you can't find me much places anyways. We want to go ahead and shout this out. You have another big interview coming up with former NXT UK talent. So tell people where they can send you questions for. Is it Lizzie Evo, I believe, right?
Yeah, so for those that watch NXT UK, Eliza Alexander. So I'll be interviewing her soon. So if you find my tweet, you can definitely reply. You can DM me the question if you don't want to reply on the tweet that everybody sees it. So either way, you can just send me questions and I'll ask her when we recorded them.
Yes, and I'm been corrected. It is the natural star rating. I knew it was something like that. Again, I haven't watched NXT in a long time, but I knew that there was something like that. As Mel says, greatness never rests. Great show. Enjoy the holiday Thursday. Well, I mean, I'm going to enjoy my holiday Thursday because I'm going to be watching Making an Impact as they do their Thanksgiving Day edition. Apparently, I didn't know you guys were doing a Thanksgiving Day edition. For me, it's very simple. Ashes has like 17 things going on. Mine's simple. Find me down here on Twitter, edfries12584. My Twitch is there. I don't stream a whole lot there, but you can find me at edfries2002. I just got a new PC coming in, so that will be coming up. So in the next week or two, I'm going to start doing hopefully some gaming streams on there. A lot of board gaming. So if you like your board game, come watch and help me. I'm going to be playing a lot of board games online, potentially doing some GM mode online via my PlayStation Share. So hopefully I can get all that kind of stuff working. But you can on Twitter at edfries12584 until it blows up, because Lord knows Twitter's about to die any day now. I do have a pretty awesome movie review on OLE podcast. You can find me with Mel's partner, Andre, and with Cody, our friend Cody Defoe. Me, Cody, and Andre reviewed Wakanda Forever, the newest of the Marvel Cinematic Universe movies. We also did a quick version of our rankings because we ran out of time. A quick version of the Phase 4 rankings for both the Marvel Cinematic Universe movies and the Disney Plus shows. I'm also going to give you a little sneak peek that sometime this weekend is going to be me, potentially Bobby, and definitely Andre are going to be reviewing the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special. And other things that you can see on OLE. Give us just 1 minute real quick. We're going to go ahead and show you what else you can see this week on OLE.
Voice inside my head, it's like a fight back and I'll tweet it. Frustrated, intoxicated, I know I'm losing myself. I can't take it anymore. But I'm not done. I'm not done. I won't give up until
And with that, you've now seen what the rest of the week holds for OLA. So make sure you go ahead and do that. For all of our American viewers, happy Thanksgiving this Thursday. Go ahead and enjoy it with your family or the family that you choose to spend it with. Not everybody chooses to spend Thanksgiving with their family. So make it the family that you choose to spend it with. For everybody else, enjoy your Thursday. Enjoy your weekend. Everybody's got some shopping coming up on Friday, so make sure you get the deals you want on Friday. Go ahead and enjoy it. We are going to be rating our friend Mike the Ref. So for Astrid, I'm Ed. This has been Taking Over, and we'll see you next time.
Everyone is watching me when I'm coming